Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be working on, as soon as this goes into focus, some emojis. We'll do this one today. I'm trying to get that into the whole camera. We have some emojis to make throughout the week. Got this guy here too, the rolly eye guy, and I got him who's not going to be this big. I made him really big for my grandkids, but we're going to make him the same size as these ones. So just a fun little project to do. So let's get started. We're going to be making these parts, so we're going to make this part and then we're going to sew on these things and then we're going to put the backs together. So this is what we're making today, and it has to be decently flat anyway, so it's got a little waves going on, but it'll be easy to sew together. You just got to remember to keep your stitches all the same. So I'm using a number 4 hook, 4mm, and my yarn calls for a 5.5, but I'm using a 4 anyway. And it is, let's see if I can reach, it's a Red Heart Super Saver. It is absolutely ginormous. I have my color adjusted on here, but the color is lemon. And it calls for a 5.5, but see if my camera can focus. But I'm using a number 4. I want it nice and tight. I made these guys with a 6, and you can see the stuffing through, and I just don't want to see the stuffing through. This one I made with a 4, so it's a lot different. As you can see, this looks better, so we're going to use a 4. So let's get started and get all this stuff off my. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to chain 3. So we're doing a fake magic circle. So you're going to double crochet 15 into that first chain that you made. So put all 15 double crochets into that. So that's 15, and the first chain 3 that you did counts as a stitch, so you're going to have 16 stitches all together that you're going to use. So because we're using the first chain, you're not going to go into the first stitch, you're going to go into the second chain of the first chain that you did, and you're going to slip stitch. Be tight. So chain 2, and for this round I just want you to put 2 double crochets into every stitch around. I will be slowing some parts down so that you can see if you don't know how to do a double or whatever. I will slow them down. And slip stitch. This is the first chain that we made, so slip stitch right into that second chain. Chain 2. So we're going to start our increase sequence. So put a double crochet in the same space you were just in, and that gives us 2 stitches in that spot. Just going to angle this down a little bit. So the next space is going to be 1 double crochet, the next space is going to be 2 double crochets in the same space, the next space is going to be 1, and the next space is going to be 2. So our sequence is 2 1 2 1 2 1, and that's how we're going to do an increase. So there's 2 in that space, 1 in that space, 2 in the next space, 1 2. So do that all the way around. And my suggestion to you is to make both your pieces on the same day, just so that your tension is the same, because lots of things can mess with your tension. I hope I'm going slow enough. Let me know in the comments below. I do read my comments. So I have one stitch left, but instead of putting 2 in there, I'm going to put 1 because we have 2 over here, so I'm just going to put 1 in there. And slip stitch to the same place we've been slip stitching to. Chain 2 and put a double crochet into that same space. So for this sequence, increase sequence, we're going to be doing 2 1 1 2 1 1 2 1 1. So 2 double crochets in the same hole, and then the next 2 stitches 1 each, and then 2 in the same hole again. So we got 2 in the same hole already that we're starting with. So the next one is going to be 1 double crochet, and the next stitch is going to be 1 double crochet. So that's 2 1 1, and we start again. 2 double crochets in this hole, 1 double crochet in the next, 1 double crochet in the next, all the way around. So 2 1 1 2 1 1 2 1 1. I keep double checking my work to see if I've done 2 1 1. I can't seem to concentrate. I have the flu, and I can't seem to concentrate on what I'm doing. Oops. And my tension is tight today. So if anyone ever tells you that nothing can change your tension, everything can change your tension. And mine seems to be tight today. And again, we're going to end up with 2. So in that last stitch, I'm just going to put 1 and slip stitch. So let's count this so we know how many stitches we have. Okay, so I have 52. There's no right or wrong. If you don't have 52, you don't have 52. What's important is the last row that we do, that you count the stitches that you have, and the next one you do has to end with the exact same amount of stitches as your other ones. So there's no right or wrong as far as numbers. You can drop a stitch, you can add a stitch. It doesn't matter at all, as long as your 2 pieces have the exact same number of stitches. So if you're doing your final row, which we're not on yet, but if you're doing your final row and your one piece has 81 stitches, this has to have 81 stitches. So if you're coming around and you're like, oh my god, I'm only at 70, start putting extra stitches in to make it 81. If you're working ahead of me, just letting you know, because when we single crochet this together, we're going stitch for stitch, and you don't want any bunching. You don't want a spot where all of a sudden it's going to be like this, because your stitches aren't equal. So doesn't really matter how many stitches you end up with. Like I said, you can drop them, you can add them, you can screw up as many times as you want. It's just as long as your other one has the exact same amount of stitches. So moving on, so we just did 2 1 1. So we did, in this row, we did 2 1 2 1 2 1. This row we did 2 1 1 2 1 1. So in this next row we're going to do 2 1 1 1. So put a double crochet after you chain 2, put a double crochet right in the same hole next to that guy. So you're starting off with your 2 right away. So in the next 3 stitches you're going to put 1 double crochet each, and that's your double crochet, and that's your increase. I can manage to do it. So in the next 3 stitches, 1 each, and that's your increase. 2 1 1 1. So now we start again. 2 1 1 1. So we're going to do that all the way around. 2 1 1 1 2 1 1 1 2 1 1 1. Oh, I didn't just make it more confusing. I am not coordinated today. It's a good thing I'm not going dancing. It's funny when you have the flu, you can't seem to do anything simple. Like I even turn into a klutz when I'm sick. I fall up the stairs. I almost fall down the stairs. I mean, I am dizzy, but I mean, not to that extreme that I'm falling, but I still managed to fall up the stairs. I'm stuck on something. Where am I at here? 2 1 1 1. But I can't seem to. What am I getting stuck on? Straggler. can't seem to do things like I would if I wasn't sick, which I'm really hoping is everybody. My husband never gets sick, so I have no idea, but I'm hoping other people are like that and I'm just not an oddball. But I may very well be, I suppose. I'm very achy too. Just don't seem to have any hand-eye coordination. I don't know if that's just because I have the aches or what. And I am a little shaky, but not, I mean, you can't see me shaking. But I feel shaky, if that makes any sense. But we soldier on. Videos got to be made. Emoji heads have to be built. My grandkids are looking forward to these, so I don't want to disappoint them. I told them they could have their emoji heads after my videos were done. I guess they're not called emoji heads, but actually my the eye roll one, this guy, my daughter's waiting on him. She wants him, which just kind of goes with her personality sometimes. And she's 30, so well, she's getting close to 30. She's not quite 30, but she still wants a little dolly. Oh my good Lord. It throws me off every time I do something wrong. I should just save this clip for the blooper clip. Good Lord. Where am I? 2 and 1. Thank God we only have one more row left. Then I still got to do, I mean, I've got other ones made, so I can just carry on with the video, but, oh, what am I at? But I have to make more for my grandkids, which is fine. I can just kind of lay around on the couch all day and do that. So you're not going to be able to get your full sequence into the end here, so I got 2, 1, 1, but it doesn't matter. So just go in to that second chain, do your slip stitch, chain 2, final row, this final row, doesn't matter how many you get around, just make sure you count and you know how many you get around. So when you do your second one, which I'm not going to do the second one with you in this tutorial, you're going to have to pause the video, but when you do your second one, you have to make sure you have the same number of stitches. I cannot stress that enough. So let's finish this final row. So double up there like I've been doing this whole time. So put another double crochet into that hole, and then you're going to do 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. So 4 single crochet or double crochets over 4 stitches. So we did 2, 1, 2, 1. Then we did 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1. Then we did 2, 1, 1, 1. And now we're doing 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. So we have 2 here. So next 4 stitches are going to get 1 double crochet each. So this will be the row, the round, where a lot of people make their mistakes, including me all the time. I don't think I have yet to build 2 of these that came out with the same amount of stitches. I've had to add stitches or take away stitches every single time. So this is just, I don't know, you get mesmerized, or you get, and you think you've done 4 and you've done 3, or you didn't do 2 in the one hole. This will be the row that you do it. So that's why I say the final row of your second one that you're going to make, you may have to add stitches or take away stitches. So 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. So 2 in this stitch, and then double crochet in the next 4, and that's your increase sequence. That's your final repeat, and then once you're done, you can fasten off and start your next one if you're waiting for me. But we are going to put our faces on before we sew it, before we crochet it together. It's just a lot easier to sew your faces on. So if you do make your other one, don't fasten off. Sorry, going off camera a bit. Brand new skein, so it's not coming out of the center all that great. Almost done. So beginners, if I am going too fast for you, which I probably am, just pause the video, because you know what you got to do. You know you got to go 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. I was supposed to put 2 in that hole. See? My numbers are never the same because I screw up like that. So don't worry about your numbers. Just, I mean, I could sit here and say, okay, this round should have had 12, this round should have had 36, this round should have had 42, but you know, it's not about that. It's just about your last row. Your entire circle needs to have this exact same number of stitches. So you're not even going to tell if you've dropped a stitch or added a stitch. You're not even going to tell. I mean, we're sewing faces on these little guys, so it won't even be noticeable if there's a gap, or you know. So beginners, don't be so anal. You don't have to be anal about this. This is actually the perfect beginner pattern, because you don't really need to worry about the mistakes that you might make. And I don't just mean beginners. I mean people that aren't beginners make mistakes. I do it all the time. I just know how to fix it. One more, and then I'll count my stitches. So you can fasten off with this guy. I'm going to count my stitches. So I have 77. So if you don't have 77, it's fine. I just have to make sure the second one I make has 77. So it's no big deal. Like I said, we're just putting faces on these, so you can fasten off just a normal way. You don't need a long tail or anything. So there's our first one, and you can go ahead and rewind the video. Alright, so let's make our tiers. I'm using a different blue than I have on this one, but I have no idea what color blue it is because there's nothing on my ball. I think it was just sky blue is what I think it said, but it's a Red Heart Super Saver from Michael. So again, I'm using a 4 hook. I'm not I have all kinds of tiers. I make these in bulk. So let's start. So I've got my 2 ends. They're the same size. So unfortunately this is going to be a magic loop, but magic loops are not that scary. Come around your fingers, take that to the back, go over your ring finger and hold it with your pinky. So you're going to come up, you're going to grab this, you're going to pull it under, you're going to turn, you're going to grab this, and you're going to pull it through like a slip stitch. Oops. You're gonna stay into it. Don't be like Tara. And that's it. It's already secured because you did that in one step. See? So doing it that way makes it pretty easy, and I know it can be difficult to hold on to when you're trying to put things into the center. We're only doing 6 single crochets, so it's not much. So just stick your fingers in there, go underneath, just keep your fingers in there to keep it spread apart if it's easier for you. And that's our 6 single crochet. So now you just want to pull your tail, close that. Don't close it all the way yet. It's so small, and it's just a lot easier to find where you need to slip stitch if it's still open a little bit. So just go into that first. Easier said than done. Go into this first stitch. My tension is tight today. There we go. Oh, find your working yarn and do your slip stitch. Now you can completely close the circle if you want. You don't have to. You can work with it open and close it later. So chain 1, and you're going to put 2 single crochets into every stitch around. So you did 6, so you're going to end up with 12. So try to keep your tension loose. It's hard enough to work with something so small. I'm going to try to keep my tension loose. So once you get back to the beginning, you can just slip stitch into that chain 1. Just like that, easy peasy. So now you want to do an increase. So you're going to do 1 single crochet in one hole, 2 single crochets in the next hole, and you do that all the way around for 18 stitches. So chain 1. Start with 1 single crochet. Next stitch, put 2 single crochets. The next stitch, put 1. The next stitch, put 2, and so on and so forth all the way around. And we're back to the beginning, and you can just, oh, maybe I got that a little too tight. Slip stitch. Or not. Chain 1. And now for the next 3 rows, you're just going to put a single crochet in every stitch around for 18 stitches. And for the next 3 rows. So before you start, because this is going to get all cuppy on you, pull that tight and tie a knot. And then you can probably, if I had a needle, just tuck it in to secure. I know we just tied a knot, but just some little extra security, just so that doesn't pop open on you. And you can just snip that off. So I'll get that out of the way right now before it starts to cup on us. And then that's all done. So 1 single crochet for the next 3 rows all the way around. I don't have much luck with this blue. So you can either count or you can use a stitch marker, just so you know where you've left off. And just slip stitch into that chain 1. I tried to make these patterns as easy as possible for beginners that might be watching. And I know they're small, but from there you should be able to, you know, if you want to make a bigger one, you should be able to figure it out. So last row of single crochets all the way around. So I just turned mine right side in to work. It is easier to see the stitches, and you're going to need to be able to see them fairly well in the next round. This will get awkward to hold on to, but it's so cool looking that I just really wanted to use a 3D kind of a teardrop for this laughy face, because they're cool looking. I just took the concept of making a, you know, I make baby mittens or making, you know, whatever. And so here you can see your seam. So if you're not counting or using a stitch marker, you can see your seam, so you know where to end off. For some reason I cannot get into that stitch. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna oh, I'm chaining. I'm slip stitching and chaining, so I'm not gonna pull tight on that because I am tense today. Alright, so the next row, so chain 1, in case you didn't catch that. I think I said it. So we're going to be working in this. Let me put that down and show you. Where's my pointer guy? I had a pointer guy. There he is. So we're working in this next row in this guy only. Front loop. Front loop only. We're going to be doing a decrease, and we're only going to be using the front loop. So we're not going to go in like that. We're going to go in front loop only. All the way around, you're going to do a decrease all the way around. So to do your decrease, you're going to go in front loop only. Let me hold this properly. So you're going to have to hold your, it's going to get tight. Front loop only, grab some yarn, pull down through, don't do anything. Come into your second loop over here, grab some yarn, pull through. You've got 3 loops. You're going to grab some yarn, you're going to come through all 3 of those loops. So this is your decrease. And you're going to do it again. And you're going to do this all the way around. So it's an aggressive decrease, but it's also a tier. Sorry, I'm trying to hold back a cough. Starting to talk funny. It's an aggressive decrease, but it's also a tier. So this was the only thing easy enough. I mean, I could have done like other things, but I thought as far as, you know, beginners, this is easy enough to do. It's awkward. It can be awkward. Yeah, near the end, I mean, if keep your tension pretty loosey-goosey. And it's not that bad. It's just a stretch to get into that second. But if you use your finger and hold your yarn and guide with your index, like I'm doing, it's really not that bad. Just about done. And it's not like it's a big space you're doing it for. It's a tiny space. So we've come full circle. You will recognize, don't know if you can see there, but you will have elongated stitches too on the top, so you know that you've come full circle. So I've just got a couple more to do. There. I'm not slip stitching. I'm just going to go straight into the very next round, which is going to be 3 single crochets, 1 in each hole. So there's 1. Next stitch, there's another one. Next stitch, there's another one. And now I'm going to do 2 together. So grab some yarn. It's the exact same thing we were just doing, but under both pieces of yarn. And then again, 3 single crochets in the next 3 stitches. And you're just going to keep going around and around and around until it closes up. You're not chaining anymore, you're not slip stitching. And then you're going to do 2 together. Keep your tension loose. So 3 single crochets. And 2 together. So it's getting a little more awkward to get into the holes, but here's 1 single crochet. This should be our last 2, 3 single crochets, and then 2 together. So after you do that, you can fasten off at this point. Leave a little bit of a tail because we're just going to sew that top shut like that. So you got a little bit of a top. You're just going to take your needle and you're going to kind of whip stitch it, kind of, sort of. So let's get his shape going. So make sure this little bobble guy's on the bottom. So pat him down and get his shape. So this is your knot. To come straight across, and you're just going under the stitches. You're just going under those two, and then pull your knot closed. Do you see? And then after you've snugly pulled him down, just hold it. And you're going to come in through the side. There's a side stitch there. Go up over the knot, kind of press the knot down and go through the other stitches on the other side, and then pull, and that is it. You can do whatever you want at this point. I'm keeping my tail, so I just brought him back up through the center because I kind of want to use him to go into here to attach him. So I'm going to keep my little tail here. You don't need much to sew him on because I don't sew this on all the way down. I only sewed this part on, so that's all we're gonna do. So pause the video or rewind the video, make your second one, and then we'll meet back here to do the mouth. Alright, we're back. So we're going to do one of these smiling mouths because he's laughing his butt off. So we are going to start with white to do this. You don't need much white. I just kind of got a little bit of white here. You don't need much. We're going to use the number 4 like we have been, and then you're going to need your black. Let me move my coffee out of the way. I dumped my coffee all over the place. And then you're going to need black. Oh my gosh, I'm getting all tangled. So let's get started. So start with white. You make a slip knot. And you're going to chain 15. And you're going to start in the second chain from your hook, the only one you can get into. You're going to single crochet back up for a total of 14. So you don't need a whole lot of white because this is pretty much it for your pearly whites. And the white I'm using is a gorgeous pure white. It's a Red Heart Super Soft from Michaels, and I think that's just the color pure white. It's gorgeous. It's almost shimmery. And there's your smiley pearly whites. Alright, so we've got our pearly whites done. We're going to move on to our black. So before you chain 1, add your black, and then chain 1. Don't be like Tara. Chain 1, turn your work, And now you're just going to single crochet all the way back up. I'm going to pull on that to tighten it a little bit. We'll tuck all that in, so we're just going to single crochet 14 all the way back up to the other side. Chain 1 and turn your work. So now we're going to start our decrease in the first 2 stitches. So same as we were just doing, and then you're going to single crochet. So in your first 2 stitches and your last 2 stitches, you're going to do the decrease and then just regular single crochets in between. I hope this isn't too hard to see against the yellow. It shouldn't be, but it's hard for me to see. So on the last 2, you're going to do a decrease, chain 1, and turn your work. So we're going to continue to do the decrease until we have 4 stitches left on top. So the first 2 and the last 2 will be our decrease, and our decrease is simply just going in, grabbing some yarn. It was the same thing we just did with the tier. Grab some yarn, come through, go into the second hole, grab some yarn, and then go pull out and then go through all 3 loops on your hook. It's the same thing we just did with the tier, but you're only doing it with the first 2 stitches of the row and the last 2 stitches of the row. So I'm on the last 2. So I'm going to go in, grab some yarn, go in, grab some yarn, second stitch, pull through all 3 stitches, chain 1, turn my work. So you can see how it's going to taper in as we go. So do your decrease, and then single crochet till you get to the last 2 stitches. I gotta unravel. I only have 1 roll of black, and I'm using it to make something right now, so I have that work attached to the inside of the skein part, so I'm just unraveling from the outside of the skein. so I don't have to cut my work off and then go back. Oops. Last 2 stitches. The last 2 stitches were in decrease. I got carried away. Oh, I didn't do the last 2 stitches. Sorry. Oh my god, I need to go back to bed. The last 2 stitches. Decrease. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches left. This should be your last row. And then don't fasten off. We're going to go single crochet all around the whole entire outside of the project. So we have 4 stitches left. You're just going to chain 1, and then from here you're just going to go around the outside of the perimeter wherever you can get your hook into. So I'm just going to try to get my ends in there because it's just secures it better. I'm going to put 2 in the corner because it'll give it a more of a rounded look. And then this whole side has stitches that you can follow along in. So try not to miss any holes. Put 2 in the corner. It just looks better. It rounds off the mouth. It'll curl up, but I mean all you gotta do is pull it down, right? So when you sew it on. And then you have stitches up here. And once you get back to the spot you started in, you can just slip stitch into one of them chains and fasten off. We'll use this to tie a knot at the back after we've sewed our work on. But just to secure, I'm going to cut my white, and I'm just going to secure just a little bit. I mean, it will be sewn on, but I am just pretty anal about toss it over there. Cut off your little straggler, guys. Keep this little straggler guy. So there, we got the mouth done.